How y'all doing? Praise the Lord. So now they've done a write up on the young man that did the shooting in Georgia, and it's saying that the mom tried to call the school like 10, 20 minutes before the shooting took place. Tell me why they choose to use a picture of his mom like this. I mean, let's see. They couldn't find a better picture than that of his mom to use, with her smiling as if it's a laughing matter. This is not a laughing matter. It's not a matter to be smiling at. It's just not. It's not. And I'm not understanding why. I don't care what paper that was, what news station it was. I don't care who it was. Why would they put a picture of his mom smiling in a picture after her son have killed someone, for someone's? Her husband and her son is sitting in jail waiting to be sentenced to prison for pretty much the rest of their life. And whoever, that is the most hateful, disrespectful thing for whoever chose to use that picture of that young man's mom with a smile on her face. I know that mother is losing her mind right now. And they chose to use that. See, this is what I'm saying. The people's mind is on money. On money, stirring up trouble, doing some foolishness. Why couldn't they put a picture of the mother that's a real picture of how she really is looking right now? I know the mom is not sitting somewhere with a smile on her face like that right now. Not with her son and her husband or her son's dad. They're both looking at staying in prison for the rest of their life. I don't know if they have a death penalty there where they are or not, but if they do, they may even be getting ready to be put to death. And someone chose to use the picture of the mother with a smile on her face as if she is a careless person. Like she don't give a damn. Like she's happy to see this happen. Are you guys following me? If I was that mother, whichever paper, a news station or whatever, chose to use that picture with her smiling, I would sue the living hell out of them. I would sue them. Because that's not right. That's making the world feel like that mama don't care. And I know she cared. That baby may have had some issues, but ain't no kid gonna just. Well, I ain't gonna say ain't none because God showed me some that just did it just because they felt like they want to see what it felt like. But that particular kid, there was something else other to this story. There's something that caused that kid to react and do what he did. Now, I haven't got a chance to listen to all the reports and everything, but I know they're saying there's some more things that they have found out concerning the case and the situation. And I'm pulling them up and looking at them. But when I came across this picture, it just broke my heart, and I felt like I needed to say something. Whoever the mama is of that young man that shot those two students and the teachers, and they chose to use a picture of you smiling, you should sue whoever the hell used your picture as if you don't care. And if you're a mother that carried that baby for 9 months and you pushed them up out your womb, or even if you had to have a C-section, that is your child. And I know you care about what has happened. You care about what he has done, and I know you care about what is going on with him. Wherever you are. Somebody said you were in prison. I don't know where you are, but that is still a callous move for whoever chose to use your picture with a smile in it. That is not right. Not right. Selfish. Hateful. Hateful. Yeah. People, we got to do better than this. We got to. And everybody pointing and saying this, that, and the other, and even the police and the government is glad to be locking this kid up and his dad. You're happy to be doing what you're doing when we shouldn't even be at this point. This should have never happened this week, this past week, or any other week before. All these killings and shootings that's going on with these kids and teenagers in the school and outside of the school should not be going on. Should not be going on. Mothers, go home. Government, send the mothers home to their children. What is the real reason y'all doing this? Y'all done your report. You know that it's wrong for the mother to be out the house. You know from the study, just a brief synopsis on some of the things I've read in your studies. For the mother to come up out the home to work, it gives the children good work ethics, but it destroys I can't say this word, cognitive skills of the child. That child has an issue on being able to get along with others. That child has an issue of being able to get along with the mother because the mother has left the home to go to work. That child has issues where they do not know how to conduct themselves in dire situations. These are your studies, your researches that you have done over the years. So y'all know, and you knew that these children were going to grow up and react just like this. And it's becoming more and more and more and more and more evident every single day that these children need their mothers at home. And you still refuse to send the mothers home. The mothers that I have had a chance to speak with, they want to be at home with their kids. But because the government says they have to go to work, even if they decided to stay at home and draw welfare, as some states call it, draw welfare, they are still commissioned to have to get up and get a job and go to work. It is the government that is pulling the mothers out of the home, away from the kids, so that the kids don't be able to be taught, so that the kids don't be able to feel loved or cared for. Bad enough in most of the houses, in poor houses, the daddy is gone. So the kid already has got a mind game going on with him. They already feel lost and empty. But do you hear you come along and take the mama? You know that this is causing an issue in the household. You know it. But you still choose to do it. Everybody that's working put in on welfare. Everybody that's working put in on welfare to help take care of people that are not able to work and that have children. You are willing to take trillions of dollars every year out of that pot to put in the federal pot for the military. An office that has many guns and have everything they need. But every year you need trillions of dollars to put in the military pot. Why? But you can't use a couple of million, or a few hundred million to help take care of these children while their mamas stay at home and raise them. It is it is the government that caused the dads to even leave home. It's the government that did that. It's the government fault for everything that is going on. I am not biting my tongue. And again, you may say, well, we wasn't there when they did that. Well, you wasn't, but you're there now. Undo that which was done. Now, granted, y'all don't bother the men being at home with the mamas, even though they're not married, and if they happen to draw assistance from the state. But the damage is already done. Now men is already psychologically damaged and refuse. Well, if we have an issue, we'll need to even try. I'm just gonna move on to the next one. It might have 1, 2, 3, 4 kids at that house, knowing that woman ain't gonna sit there to be alone all by herself for the rest of her life. She goes out and get another one, drop another 2, 3 kids. That now I'm not raising all them kids. And then he move on to get him another one, and then she move on to get her another one. And it's just a continued cycle where a lot of children is coming into this world just to be hurt, just to feel unloved, just to kill or be killed, to be used, to be beaten, to be whatever y'all want them to be, except for love and raised in the proper manner that they're supposed to be raised and loved. Y'all saying, well, okay, it's only a few. No, you said that when it first started happening, it's just a few. It's far more than a few now. In 10 years, it's going to be far more than a few then. It'll be knocking on your door then. And it's not even going to be 10 years before it starts knocking on y'all doors. If it ain't already been knocking on your door, but you know y'all governmental people, y'all know how to cover y'all ass. And you know how to cover your children's ass because you in the government. See, it shouldn't be that way. Everybody has a life. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody deserves to be loved, especially our children. Especially our children. You caused the men to leave the house and got them all psychologically fucked up. And now the mothers have to leave the house. And now you got the kids all psychologically fucked up. And then you still, and here you is happy to throw the kids in jail. Happy to throw the kids in prison. Happy to give them a death sentence. Happy to do this. What kind of mental issue is y'all dealing with? I don't mean no harm, officers, but when I sit and I listen to y'all, when y'all go to these school shootings and you get the kids and then you do your, get the kids that done the shooting, if they make it out alive, and y'all do y'all news report, some of y'all be too damn happy about having to do what you have to do to a teenager. To a teenager. You be too happy. You don't look at the situation. You don't understand what they have gone through. You don't even try to understand what they've gone through. The system itself don't even try to understand the situations and the issues that these children have gone through. The psychological damages that have been done to these children. You don't even try to understand it. Y'all put lead in the water. Put lead in water. And most waters in America right now is filled with lead. And a lot of these kids is messed up from that. Then on top of that, they don't feel no love from their parents. Because parents ain't got time for following the laws of the land. And y'all just, you too happy. You happy to be locking them up. You're happy to be killing them. No compassion whatsoever. But if it knock on your door, you gonna want somebody to have compassion on yours. Oh, better yet, there ain't nobody gonna know besides the few that know. Because y'all gonna get that all cleared up, cleaned up, and pushed aside right real quick, right? You do it all the time. You clean it up. When one of y'all sons or daughters mess up and kill somebody or hurt somebody or do something they ain't got no business doing to somebody, you clean that shit up real quick. You clean it up real quick. So that don't nobody know about what done happened, except for the few that was there when it happened. Is that fair? Is that fair? It's not fair. Is it right? It's not right. It's not right. 2 shootings in 1 week. 2 school shootings in 1 week. 2. Is that fair? No, it's not. Is that fair for that mother and child to not be coming home because another student had went through some issues and they didn't know how to deal with it and they picked up a gun? It's not fair for those parents not to have their children coming back home. Is it fair for that husband or that wife sitting at home, waiting for their husband or wife or those children to sit at home, waiting for their mom or dad to come back home from work, from school, and they don't come home? No, it's not fair for those people that sitting at home waiting for their mom or their dad or their husband or wife, and they don't come back home. Is it fair for the mama or the daddy of the student that did the shooting For that kid to have done this to bring shame on them, not only to bring shame on them, but now that child is not coming back to prison. Coming back home. That child is going to prison, and they're gonna sit there and they have to suffer through it for the rest of that child's life, more than likely, if you don't put them to death. Is that fair to them? It's not fair to them. It's not. Why is it not fair? Because it was the government in a roundabout way that caused all this crap to happen in the first place. In the first place. It's the government's fault. If we're gonna point any fingers, point them right at where it belongs to be, where it needs to be, at the government. It was the government pulled the dads up out the home, and then the dads that is at the home. Everybody's hands is tied in one way or the other. Now, this situation just happened in Georgia. Dad is at home. Son going through some issues. We don't know what the issues is just yet. Unless this came out, and I haven't heard or listened or read all the stories yet. Maybe something have come out. But if that child was being bullied at school, of course he's gonna lash out if ain't nobody taking care of it or trying to fix the issue. We've had many of those kids that was being bullied at school, and they followed the proper protocol, and then nobody helped them, so they did what they thought they needed to do. But did anybody think about that or try to have mercy or compassion on that kid? And see, I had 2 kids that was going through when they were little, and I had to go to work. I had to work. Every day I was coming home from work. Mama, you got to go up to the school. Jeremy and so-and-so and so been kicked out of school. Why? Because they got into it. Why? Because some kids was bullying the youngest one. They go to their teacher, and the teachers don't do nothing. They went to the principal didn't do nothing. I went to the teacher didn't do nothing. I went to the principal didn't do nothing. I went to the school board didn't do nothing. So one day, my child took a knife to school, and he tried to cut one of them. I thank God that he wasn't able to. And there was a parent that stopped him before he did. But because they were tired of being bullied, and mama had her ass at work because the government said that I had to be at work, my child was trying to kill somebody else's child because they were bullying them. Because they were bullying them. It's not fair. I sat before that board because they kicked my child out for the entire year, and it wasn't fair for him. It wasn't fair for me. It wasn't fair for his education. I thank God he still went on to do something with his life. But it's not fair. And then they had a school board sit there and tell me, well, you need to go to the psychiatrist too. Because I told them, if somebody is I told them, if somebody is kicking your door open every night, and you call the police, and the police don't do nothing about it, and you tell them who's doing it, and the police don't do nothing about it, and you come back the next day, and you kick your door open again, and the police don't do nothing about it, then you go to the chief of police, and the chief of police don't do nothing about it. You go to the doggone mayor, and they know who's doing it, and they don't do nothing about it. And you go through this day after day after day after day. And you can't get no help, and you going through the proper protocol. You going through the proper protocol, and you can't get no help. What is you going to do? Is you going to continue to let this person kick your door open and come in there and harass you every day? Or is you going to do what you got to do to keep that person from coming in there, kicking your door open, harassing you every day? They told me I was crazy and I needed to go to the psychiatrist. They sent me to the psychiatrist because I sat there and I spoke truth to him. I spoke truth to him. And everybody know if they're not, everybody know, even if you want to play games with yourself. If somebody came and kicked your damn door open every fucking door every day, you would do what you had to do to keep them from kicking your door open, coming in there troubling you every day. This is what I went through with the school board. So I know what these kids are going through that is being bullied. I know they're not getting help in most cases. And y'all are so happy. And yes, some words coming out, some choice words coming out my mouth that y'all not like it, but I don't care because it is the truth. It is the truth. School records show it all. And when I did go to the psychiatrist told me, girl, you and your son go home. They signed that thing off on the first day. Go home. Your son just gonna have to deal with not being in school for the rest of the year. But ain't nothing wrong with now one of y'all because you told him right. Go home. School records easily proven. Easily proven that I'm not lying. I'm tired of this. The government is playing with our children. They're playing with our children. And we just sit back and say, well, my ass. Get up. Mothers, if you love your children, leave them jobs alone and go home to your kids. Go home to your kids. Who gonna pay the bill? Who gonna cut them off? If all, like I said, it's over 70% of the workforce is working mothers. Let them men work them jobs. You go home, take care of your kids. Who gonna pay your bills? 70% of the workforce is mothers. If all you women went home and said to hell with that, they ain't got no money coming in no way. Whether they leave it on, turn it off. You know how y'all stood up and went out there? Was millions of women out there fighting for equal pay, equal wages. You want your wages to be the same as men. Millions of women were out there on that protest in Washington, D.C. It was some years back. And it's probably some that's probably not happened since. Out there fighting for equal pay, equal wages. Go out there and fight the same way you was fighting for equal wages, for the right to stay home and raise your children. The same way. If you women moved out the way, those men could get in there and they could get those jobs and they could force them to pay an equal wage, a living wage, because the wages they're paying today is not a living wage. If y'all moved out the way, women, mamas, and let these men get out there and get those jobs, they could force these employers to pay a proper wage. How, you say? Well, if you got all these women and all these children and all these men that's willing to to work, well, we could take the cheapest ones. But we got a plethora of people to put to work, to pick from. Because now the women are working. Everybody knows that women outweighs men. It's outnumbered men, what, is it 10 to 1? So we got all these women and we can pay them cheaper than men anyway. Let's go with them. But if the women moved out the way, these men could say, I know I'm not finna work that job at that rate. You're going to raise it. Because why? Because it's far less more people to work. Yeah, they brought these illegals here, but this is not going to last for very long. God's going to deal with that. Do y'all not understand? Yeah, they housing all the men and the women that they've been putting in jail illegally. A lot of them is there that shouldn't even be there. But now they locking up the children. They done put it to the point. They got it to the point where the children is just, so it's a lot of children now going to prison. Free slavery. Slavery. Everybody stuck on. It ain't got nothing to do with. It's got to do with. It ain't got nothing to do with your skin, baby. It's got to do with the color of green. Yeah. Now they got free kids. They got kids that doing free wage working now. And then I was listening to where they even outsourcing people for prison that's going to these different restaurants and stuff and different places to work. Getting paid the same wage as everybody else getting paid, but they only see a certain percentage of their money because the prison is taking the rest. Do that sound right to y'all? If that ain't flat out slavery, I don't know what it is. Flat out slavery. I think the prison, if I'm not mistaken, I think they said the prison take 40% of their pay. The guy, I know he said they make $600 every 2 weeks, a little over $600 every 2 weeks, and they see maybe two something. After he said the prison system take theirs off the top, and then they take taxes out of the rest, and then they only get like 200, a little over 200, after being paid $600 and something every 2 weeks. Okay, and they're working at different restaurants and businesses and everything. They outsourcing them to go out, and then if they do a good job and they don't cause no problem, they get to go home to their people for 72 hours, and then they come back. You know what I'm saying? So if that is not nothing but slavery, what is it? That is flat out slavery. And now they're pulling in the youth and the children in by the droves. They're pulling the youth and the children in by the droves. Little youngins now. Now they got little young slaves. Little young slaves. And you know they're going to get paid good from that. They'll get paid good for that. Y'all, they gonna kill me, but I don't give a damn right now. I'm tired of watching all these babies go to jail and go to prison because of something that the government is doing, and the people are constantly sitting on their ass watching them do it and not standing up and speaking out. I don't believe in protesting no more, but when it comes down to these children, you got to do what you got to do if you love your children, or else you're going to lose them. You're going to lose them in one way or the other if you don't get up and fight for them. Mothers, go home and raise your children. Go home and raise your children. What is wrong with you? Why would you carry something in your body for 9 months and then raise them for some years, and they get 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then you lose it to the system? Why? Because you wasn't able to be at home because of the system. You weren't able to be at home and nourish them with love and teach them understanding, patience, peace, self-control, love for self, love for others. You wasn't there to teach them kindness. You wasn't there to teach them ethics and values and morals and standards. You wasn't there to do nothing that you were supposed to teach them because the government said you had to go to work in order to feed your child, because they done messed the man head up to the point where the man don't even want to be at home with you. And those that is at home with you, they feel like they could leave at any time. So they don't even do, a lot of them don't even do what they supposed to do because they feel like they could go on about their business too. Who gonna stop them? See, sometimes that old way is the best way. I could say this one thing about during slavery time: they knew how to stick and stay. And immediately after, before it was the late 60s, early 70s, when they started telling the men couldn't stay at home with their women or their wives, it was after the Great Depression. No, it was 60s, late 60s, early 70s, when they started telling the men, if in order for your kid, because especially black people and poor people, if you was not able to find a job, you had to eat. You wanted your wife to eat. You wanted your kids to eat. You wanted to eat. So the welfare program they had started back in the Depression era. That's when the welfare part came in. That's why I got it mixed up. That's where the welfare program came from, the Depression era. So when men and women and children were not able to get a job, and back then in the 60s and 70s, especially black people, they couldn't find no job really, unless the woman was cleaning somebody's clothes and enslaving for a white person for just a penny. Well, it's more than a penny, but it was like a penny. You understand what I'm saying? And if they wanted them to eat, they had to get on the welfare. So in order for them to get on the welfare, they said, well, Johnny living in that house, he a man, he should be working. We shouldn't have to help that man and that woman and that child out. Johnny need to get up and get a job. Knowing Johnny can't find no job because of knowing Johnny couldn't find no job. And then there was poor white people too that couldn't find no job. Just because they was poor and they was from the wrong side of the tracks. So no, Johnny shouldn't be. Well, Johnny gonna have to get up out of there. If we gonna feed Mary Ann, and little Johnny and little Sally over there, Mr. Johnny gonna have to get up out of there. So that's what they did. In order for, and they could be married. They didn't care about them being married. In order for them to get help to feed and pay rent and to feed them and make sure they got what they needed, the husband or the baby daddy or the husband, they had to leave. And back then, it was more so husbands than baby daddies. They were married, but because the government said they couldn't be there, they had to leave up out of there in order for the wife and for the kids to eat. So of course, a man being a man is gonna say, "Well, I don't want to, but baby, I just sneak in at nighttime." Then they got tired of sneaking in. I mean, when I was a little girl and my mom and her husband was going through that, and that was in the 70s. That was in the 70s. I would see my mom and her husband going through that. And when she knew that the welfare people was coming out, move all his stuff out, and then they're slowly moving in at nighttime over many days. Okay, I used to see it all the time. I was like, why is they doing that? I didn't realize then that it was because in order for us to eat and pay rent, he couldn't be here. He couldn't be here. So men, psychologically, they messed up in the head. So now they go from Sally to Sue to Mary to Jane. Because they don't feel like they need to be there. So now they got the men moved up out the house. Now they came and got the women. The mamas. Well, in order for you and your kids to eat and be taken care of or to be helped out, you got to go to work. And what the women do? They didn't fight it. They get up and went to work. Granted, the women during the war, they chose to fight for it. But those are some rich white folk. And when you look back, there wasn't no poor white women that fought to work. Them women was well-to-do and they just wanted to work. Being defiant to their husband. Everybody didn't want to work. Every mama didn't want to come up out their house to go to work. There was just a few little white women that decided they wanted to fight to go to work. And now it blew up to this whole big old thing where and those women that fought to go to work, they had maids at home taking care of them kids. See, y'all didn't know that. Them ones that was fighting to go to work when the men had to leave and the women had to go to work. Then when the men came back from the war and the women had to come back home for working, because it used to be a woman couldn't go to work, they fought to go to work. And the few women that was fighting to go to work, they had people at home taking care of them children. There wasn't no poor women. There wasn't women that was everyday women that really, really need to be at home with their children. Them women had maids. And they just wanted to be a problem. Wanted something to do. Read back on it and see. Now, they at the point where they don't move the mama out the house. Now the children are psychologically damaged. Then they putting stuff in your food and in the water and everything, psychologically damaging the children even more. But now, not only is they got them where they're killing each other up, the schools done took over the kids now. In most cities and states, the parents got very little right over the kid at school. I was looking at some story the other day where the woman said the school changed her, was it the daughter into a son? Without her knowledge. Without even, they done gave that baby a whole sex change operation. And she didn't even know. Until it was too late. The school did this. I wish I could remember. I wish I could show y'all. I wish I could remember the name of the story. But I was like, they did what? And you didn't know it? Said the school gave her child a whole sex change operation and she never even knew that it was going on. Changed, I think it was from a girl to a boy. I think it was from the they changed my daughter into a son or something like that. But yeah, the school did it. It was a lie somebody that made a video of and they said that they did it. Now, I mean, And y'all just sitting by watching this happen. Y'all sitting back just watching. When I noticed that the schools was taking control, I made a video about it when I was in Flint, Michigan. It's on Facebook. And the way I found out was my daughter was going to work, which I didn't want none of my kids to go, but I fought tooth and nail. And I'm still fighting tooth and nail. But now my grandbabies is of some age now. And let me tell you, when I found out, I had to take one of my grandkids to school. And she had to get a wellness checkup. So we went in the little office where they do the wellness checkup, and they had to fill out some papers. And I went to fill out the papers because my daughter had me take her. I think she was 16 or 17 at that time. No, she was 16. 15. She was 15. And my daughter had me take her because she felt like, she thought one of us had to fill out the papers for her to take this little wellness thing that she had to do in school. And we got in that office, and I went to fill out, but she said, no, that's for her to fill out. I said, huh? I said, the parents got to fill out. She said, no. The parents don't have to fill out anything anymore. The children do it. I said, huh? She said, oh, yeah. And it had her baffled, too. And then she gave me some more paperwork that was telling me how if the children get pregnant and they want the parent to know, they wouldn't tell the parent. That they could even get an abortion at the school. And the school people wouldn't even tell the parent that they was pregnant and got them an abortion. If they was on drugs or alcohol and they came and opened up to the school council or whatever, the school wouldn't tell the parents. If they had a sexually transmitted disease, the school wouldn't tell the parents unless it was AIDS and herpes. But then it was a certain way that they would go about telling the parents. Anything that a parent needs to know, they said they wouldn't tell the parent if they opened up and told them. So in other words, the school was becoming the parent and the parent was being pushed aside. So all this was going on. It's going on while mama and daddy is not being involved. So now they're going to push mama and daddy out of the picture altogether. And now the school is now the parents. And this was going on in Flint, Michigan. I made a video about it, had all the papers, everything. It's on Facebook. So what I'm saying, again, get up off y'all ass and fight for your children if you love them. Don't think that it will not hit your door. It will hit your door too. It's gonna hit your door if you don't get up and fight. Go to Congress and say, no, it's too many kids going to prison. Too many kids hurt each other. I'm a mama, and I want to stay at home with mine. Y'all got to pass a law. Y'all got to do something. But I'm not going to just let y'all have my children like this. Go sit before Congress. A group of you women from all states and cities. Go to Congress. Go to y'all representatives and stuff in whatever city or state you live in. Go to the White House. Do whatever you got to do. But go stand and sit before them people and tell them, y'all got to change this. Y'all ain't getting no more of my children. Or y'all ain't going to get now one of my children. Go fight for your babies. If you don't, they're going to take them. They're going to be some little slaves running around here. Y'all friends, them, especially y'all little friends that y'all think is all close to you. You're going to go to one of their little parties and you're going to see your little Billy serving you some hors d'oeuvres. Being a little slave because they done outsourced them from the prison. Think it's a lie when it ain't? Yeah. Hey, Jesus. Get up and fight for your children. Stop sitting back looking at they ought to lock him up. Yeah, they need to give him the death penalty. Yeah, they did. And guess what, Joe? You got children and grandchildren too. It's going to come back on you. Now what you going to do when that happens? When it come knocking on your door. What you going to do? Oh, my God. No, my God. Oh, just yesterday you were saying good. They got a little Johnny Joe over there. They need to lock him up. They need to throw away the key. They need to give him the death sentence. They need to bring back the death penalty. Ain't this all of what a lot of y'all be saying? When we come knocking on your door concerning your kid or your grandkid, then you gonna want some compassion. That thing that, hey, That thing that you refuse to give. You refuse to give compassion, but you're going to want it. You're going to want it. Get up, y'all, and save your babies. Get up and save your babies. All my babies are grown. Most of my grandbabies are grown. And don't none of them want no kids. But I pray God change their mind. Because I want some great kids. But they looking at society today, and they like, Granny, I don't want no kids. Even down to the boys. Nah, I don't want no kids. No. Not with all that going on. No. Granny, I love you and I want to make you happy, but I don't want to. I don't want to cry like that. My grandkids, they keep it real with me. They see what's going on and they don't like it. They don't like it not one bit. Well, y'all are hey. I love y'all with the Jesus. I love y'all with the love of God. And I pray that this video meet y'all in a place and that y'all will get an understanding. Look over those words, but I don't care if you don't hear what I'm saying. If you love your kids, get up and fight for them. I mean every word I said. Whether you like the way I said it or not, I meant it. I love y'all with the love of God. And I pray that y'all got enough sense to do exactly what I'm telling y'all to do. Get up and take y'all tails to Congress or somebody and tell them I'm not working no more. Y'all will not get my children. Not that easy. Do what you got to do, but I'm going to raise mine. And those of y'all that don't have kids, go on and do your career, get your little work on, save up your bank account, so when it's time for you to have kids and you ready to have kids, you could come away from work without all the hoopla. You could come away from work, you got your bank account, you got your money set up, and you could raise your child properly. You could go ahead and be at home and raise that baby the way that you choose to raise it. But right now, those that have children that is outside of the house that they've taken, that the government is picking and gleaning from your children, picking the ones they want and gleaning from the ones they want, y'all better get up and go fight. Go fight. Make it better for your children when they do decide to have kids. Because you don't get up and fight right now. When your kids have kids, it's going to be hell on earth for real. Go make a better tomorrow for your children. Quit being lazy. Quit being afraid. Get up and fight. I love y'all with the love of Christ. Peace till next time. Stay blessed.